What's up, New York Comic Con? How you guys doing? I feel like I haven't seen you in so long. Well, for everybody that's watching on the live stream, and obviously the tons of people that are here right now, we're going to be talking to some of the cast and the creatives behind the new Roswell, New Mexico. Are you guys excited? So joining us today, we have Carina Adly Mackenzie, the show's writer, Jeanine Mason, Nathan Dean Parsons, and co-EP Chris Hollier. So you guys actually just premiered the first episode here. What was that like premiering it to a live audience?
Super fun, totally not stressful.
No, totally calm.
It was actually really great. It was really cool to hear people like laugh at the right times and swoon at the right times. So nobody laughed at the wrong times. That's the whole.
That would suck. Yeah, that'd be a little bit awkward. I was looking on Twitter and it got amazing feedback on Twitter from old fans of the old show and new fans. So that's, I mean, I have to think anytime you're doing a reboot, that's a little bit of extra added pressure, right? Or a reimagining.
Reimagine. What are we calling it? It's not a.
Yeah,
say your line.
Readaptation.
Well, yeah, we're saying it's not a prequel, it's not a sequel, it's not even a reboot, it's a reimagining.
Yeah.
That's the line.
That's Nathan's talking point.
That's a good talking
I'm allowed
point.
to say.
We didn't even rehearse that, so that's I like that talking point. And I also like the little alien that you brought with you on stage. Does he have a name?
Yeah, this is Enrique. This is Janine's alien.
Yeah,
we all have one.
Literally, our whole cast, our whole crew, and we just Instagram their adventures on our set all the time. It's
they
the best
keep us
thing we
going.
do.
That's like your little like support alien.
Yeah.
I like it.
I literally, like, it feels like a worry doll. Like, I hold it on set and I'm stressed out and I'm like.
I've already broken mine. It's in 3 pieces.
Do they all have their own names?
Mine is Tomasita.
Okay.
She's the girl
Karina's-
alien.
Yep, the only girl. It's like the Smurfs. There's just one.
And that's Enrique. What is your?
Enrique, mine is Travis.
Travis is a bootmaker and an alien.
So they also have
There's a whole story
backstories.
behind it. There's a whole story behind this.
We hate each other.
No, I can tell. You have a tendency to really hate your cast that you work with. I know, I get it. You never get
I
along.
bring them back.
What is your alien's name?
Felipe.
Felipe.
Yeah, my little son named him.
Okay. And would like they all have their little backstories? You guys could have your own little like Instagram just for your alien.
Listen, things are going really well between all of our aliens right now, but like by the time we get to season 2, there's gonna be like infighting between the aliens. It's a whole thing. We're really worried about it, so.
I think you guys are going to be able to pull it off, though. So I know that this season, you're not going to be shying away from politics. You were incredibly vocal about your beliefs and ideology. I know. You really have to learn to come out of your shell. You're very, very subdued and quiet. How has the reception been to that? How do you feel like people are reacting, especially right now in the current climate?
I mean, we've just shown it to, you know, a few hundred people today, so I don't know. But I do want to say, you know, it's not really like about me being vocal about my opinions. There's a wide range of opinions represented on the show. You know, for example, like the lead character Liz comes from a family of immigrants that is undocumented. Her parents were undocumented and they came here illegally. There are other families on the show that are immigrants that did come here legally, so we're not sort of like coming at this from one perspective. Those two families have different points of view on the process and what's going on in the world today. And you know, we talk a lot about the show being political, but I think the show is as political as our daily lives are, which is to say that like when you're going about your business and you're like falling in love, you're not like really thinking about politics, but when you're at work and your job is that you're a scientist or you're a cop or you're a soldier or you're a doctor, your job is influenced by politics and by what's going on in Washington. So that's sort of the balance that we're striking. It's not like we're just constantly like sitting around a table being like, man, I'm angry about Kavanaugh. Like, but I am.
What did you feel was the biggest challenge this season for each of you, either as actors or as a showrunner or a co-EP?
I mean, the biggest challenge, I guess, would just be was the time between the pilot and when we got picked up. That was the biggest challenge. This cast and this crew and everyone has just clicked so well that it was a joy to get back to work. It was the idea of not being able to do this that was the hardest part. And the fact that we are now able to, and we're halfway through this thing, and it's been great.
The night before we got officially picked up was like the darkest point of my life thus far. I was like spiraling so hard. I was like, what if I like just imagined all of this, and tomorrow I've got to go on general meetings and drink water bottles with executives and like pretend I care about other things. Like, it would have been terrible.
To second Nathan, I agree. I mean, the other hard thing about it has been finding a way to survive them not being together, because obviously, like, they can't be together episode 1. And so Liz and Max, there has to be conflict, and there's so much of it on our show. It's an epic romance, but it's also a murder mystery, and the way things unravel, the way things are bigger than this tiny town, it keeps them apart so actively, and the want is so strong that it's torturous. It's honestly torturous going through every episode, like, why can't they just be happy? Like, but their problems are so big, and that happens when you're not talking about a high school drama. You know, these are people in their late 20s, early 30s, and yeah, the problems are way bigger, the consequences are way bigger, and the sacrifice you have to make to get to what you want is huge. And that's really their battle this season.
These guys exhaust themselves playing like this tension and pain and trauma. We've got them crying a lot on screen and off. I'm kidding.
I know we finished the scene.
Nathan's the off-screen crier. The rest of us are fine.
I'm gonna feel bad about what we're gonna put someone through for 12 hours, because they have to go cry 20 different times in 10 different angles. So
yeah, it wears you out.
So how do you, like, dealing with something that's so emotionally trying, how do you sort of soothe and come back from that? Like, what do you do to kind of cheer yourself up after a really long shoot?
Okay, I'm gonna say
besides hang out with your alien.
Right, yeah. I mean, I think it's been lovely to be in Santa Fe because it's such a relaxing, gorgeous place, and it's fun to be in New Mexico. New Mexico is a character in our show. I mean, it's stunning. I've always been a fan of shows like, which I know Carina is too, like Gilmore Girls and Friday Night Lights, shows where you feel like the town is a character, and you're visiting that place along with these characters every time you watch the show. So we have all really loved being there, being a part of Santa Fe, getting to eat the chili and like have the queso and like go on the
Have
hikes.
the tequila.
And then I was gonna say, and the not PG is the tequila.
Tequila and queso is how we deal with all of our situations.
And the skies. Everybody who follows me on Instagram, like, all I do is post pictures of the sky because I'm like, it's peaceful out there.
I mean, with enough tequila, a lot of things are peaceful out there. So it makes sense. I know that Cherie Appleby, who was in the original series, directed an episode this season.
Not yet.
Not yet. She's going to be.
She is slated to join us in about 2 weeks, start prepping. We're very excited, like so excited.
How did that come about?
She did an interview where they asked her, she was like doing press for Unreal, I think, and they asked her about the reboot, and she said, I hope they call me to direct, and so I called her.
And then there you go. And are you gonna have any other former cast members play like any type of?
I vote for Colin Hanks every time this question comes up. I'm like, Colin Hanks, come at us, please.
Please call me Colin Hanks. I'll write you
I mean, I
a
think
role
we could
forever.
pretty much put that out there on Twitter, and he might respond to it.
I would love to have them. I think we want to make sure that there's like something cool for them to do, that it's not just like some cameo where it's like, oh, familiar face. But Nick Wessler is a really good friend of mine, and he's the nicest human being on the earth. So I'm pretty sure I could convince him once I got the right part. What I really want to do is have them play characters in 1947, because we do a couple of flashbacks sometimes. And I think that would be a fun way to integrate them into the world without it being sort of disorienting and weird. But we'll see.
So were you guys at all into aliens or conspiracy theories before this show? And did you become way more involved and interested in it after? Or you just like, okay, aliens, whatever?
Yeah, and I mean, I've always been kind of a dork for aliens. I think they're super cool, and I can't wait for them to come say hi. But I've watched Ancient Aliens for a long time. I've always been a sci-fi fan, and to have an opportunity to do something along those lines is phenomenal.
And I was going to say one of our partners is Amblin, so it's great to also draw upon that great history. of all of the classic sci-fi Spielberg stuff. And that's something that we take a look at when we're crafting our stories as well.
Do you guys each have a favorite episode this season?
Yes.
Karina definitely
The ones
does.
that are finished
We're
and in
shooting
the
it right
can,
now.
Is there any
The ones that are finished are awesome. We are in the middle of shooting our big flashback episode. So the pilot centers around the 10-year high school reunion, and the 6th episode of the show takes place in the 3 months leading up to high school graduation. So we've been shooting that right now. All of our cast members are like on Instagram with like their faces shaved. They all look like babies. It's been like literally the other night I was like, good night guys, thanks for making all my teenage dreams come true, because I'm like watching the prom and I'm so happy. So yeah, that's my favorite one. It's sort of the episode where a lot of our mystery gets revealed too. So it's teen high school stakes, but also lots of drama.
Teen anything seems to have a lot of drama, so that makes a lot of sense. How about you guys? Do you have a favorite yet, or not really?
I loved episode 5. That's like a solid mile marker where it felt like a lot of the secrets had to start to pop out, and more information's on the table. And it's the first episode where it's suddenly the involvement being bigger than our small town, bigger than Roswell, being a government size problem or cover up. We felt that tension. It felt like a thriller suddenly. 5. The tone of the show gets really dark, and the scope of the show gets really big.
Guys?
Yeah, I don't really have one yet. I'm waiting for.
He hates them all.
Yeah. These all blow. No, I'm kidding.
No, I'm waiting for 9, 10. I mean, I'm curious to see where this thing goes. And that's once everything sort of starts spiraling out of control, then I think I'll find one that I'm like, yes.
Okay. Chris, do you have a favorite?
Yeah, the ones that are all done and in the can.
Those are great. Fair enough. Well, thank you so much, guys. I hope the show blows up and is a huge success.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody that's
so
home
much.
watching. Stay tuned. You can follow us at SYFY on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Use the hashtag It's a Fan Thing and hashtag NYCC. Up next, we have the cast of The 100.
Hi, I'm Jackie Jennings with SYFY WIRE. If you can't get enough of New York Comic Con, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel for news, interviews, cosplay, and so much more. What are you waiting for?